This is the Plain Marseille by Ryan Edwards, hand-painted edition, limited special edition. And this is the Maybe Lenormand, hand-painted edition as well, which I believe is limited, which I have done an unboxing and flipped through the cards in a different video when I first received this. I can't remember when, a couple of years ago or so. So I will link that video at the end of this video. There's a reason why I brought this back here in particular. It's something to do with the quality of the wooden box, which I believe is part of the packaging of special edition, limited edition. So I'll put this aside for the moment. I did not make a video about this Plain Marseille when I first received it because I was very unhappy about the box, and for I don't know how much I paid. This was retailed at $300, I think, US dollars before shipping. I think my expectation has a lot to do with how much I paid for something, and so we'll speak about that at the end of this video. So I am going to show you first the cards. I believe the mass market edition have recently, I don't know, I haven't been following, but I think I heard from some people that they're finally receiving their mass market edition, which at the time of the sale of this particular edition was still being produced. So each of these colorings will probably be slightly different from each other. I believe the lines are printed on a watercolor paper. There it is. These are card paper, so it's made in a very old-fashioned way. And they bend like paper would. And I believe the coloring is the only part that is hand done by hand. Please comment down below if that's not the case. As some of you know, I am in the process of liquidating my tarot collection. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, my collection for sale. I am liquidating them in tiers, in phases. At the moment, I'm in phase 1 or tier 1 or cycle 1, however you want to term it. And not until I am done with tier 1, whether they're all sold, donated, or given away, only after that's gone from my premises, I will move on to tier 2 or level 2. And I would increasingly go further and further into the core of my collection. And when I say the core of my collection, I mean the crown jewels of my collection will be sitting in the center of it, I suppose. So just to give you a sense of the cards there, of the paper stock or the card stock. It is winter here and I'm beginning to cough again, so I do apologize in advance if I have to cough in between. I'll make sure I cough away from the microphone. Feel free to pause. After the pandemic, my husband is working from home, so I don't have time to film often. I don't have time to edit either, or the privacy to do so. And also the busyness of my life have picked up, and so I can't edit. I'm not likely to edit this, so I do apologize for that in advance as well. So I'm going to move past this really quickly just to be efficient with our time here. Feel free to pause. Now the pattern of the court here, I believe these are French suits, and there is a name for this particular pattern that reminds me very much of the style that Ryan Edwards have adopted here. I will put that link down below. It is a name of a town in France, which I can't pronounce properly. Rouen, I think, or something like that. And this particular style is named after the place, and it's sort of, I think if I remember correctly, it went out of fashion around the 1700s. But I'll link it down below, and feel free to read that yourself, and let me know if you agree with me, if the pattern here very much resembled that particular style in France from a couple of hundred or so years ago. Quite angular, quite flat, and I really quite like it. So I'll just skip through this really quickly. So if you have the pleasure of touching the Maybe Lenormand hand-painted edition, this is pretty much the same. And this kind of art paper has the blessing of it being very delicious to shuffle, in terms of the airy, fluffy sort of hand feel of it. But also, unfortunately, they have a bit of a drag between cards as well, because they're not laminated. And I know people who actually use their hand-painted edition. I don't. I simply I use these in a different way. I use them for pleasure. It gives me pleasure to just touch and look through them, and every once in a while I play with them. And I love that stamp. It's very much in the old tradition of Marseille cards there, or what we now know as Marseille, even though they're not necessarily from Marseille. And I have a whole playlist of Tarot de Marseille. Feel free to check that out. I will link that at the end of this video as well. Now, in the last few minutes of this video, I would like to talk a bit about the box. Because I was quite unhappy about the box, and it is really my expectation, like a lot of people, are relative to how much you pay. So I think this was priced at $300 US before international shipping. And the context for that is that I've had issue about my Maybe Lenormand box as well. So my Maybe Lenormand box arrived very faded in terms of both the staining of the wood and the gold stamping of the sun on the lid. And if you look at my old video unboxing this deck, you could see how faded it is. It looks almost as if that box shouldn't make it through, shouldn't pass quality control. It made me feel like I was getting a second quality, or what should have been sold as seconds. I am not new to collecting items, and in a lot of collecting circles, even the smallest fault, like for example in hand-bound, hand-dyed old Bibles, old style Bible, the Bibles aren't old, if there's a slight bleed through, you can hardly see it, and those are sold as seconds. And so in this instant, I was for the Maybe Lenormand, the creator have kindly provided me with a replacement box, which I can't remember, but I had to pay for shipping for that, which I sort of just, I suppose I accepted. If I want to pursue it, I could argue that I shouldn't be paying for shipping, but I did, because my desire to have a proper box outweigh my calculation in terms of what's right and what's wrong in terms of cost, etc., and obligations. And this one here was created in such a way, if according to what I was told, that if I'm going to slide this on like so, that this apparent or seemingly misalignment here that you could see, so that stop there, is created for on purpose to provide friction here so that the lid closes. So the explanation that was provided to me when I said that the box have been misaligned, in terms the lid and the box is misaligned, so that the design is as such that the misalignment is part of the design, so that from here, let me show you how I have to push this. So you could see there, so that friction is built into the design of this seemingly misaligned lid and frame of the top of the box here to hold the lid shut. Now I've moved around all over the world, as I mentioned, and I've had a lot of furniture expanding and contracting depending on the changes of the humidity, and that is not very healthy for the furniture. And so this could be disastrous in an environment where humidity fluctuates, because that's actually not very good for the joints, because there's a lot of pressure is applied if this is part of the design. And so that's that on that. So at the moment, you can even see the gap here isn't very, like there's a gap there and it's shut here. And I have enough of sliding boxes like this to know that this is probably, I've never seen anyone design a box like this. So that could, I mean, I suppose that could be the case in this box, in which case that design isn't optimal, not for, in my mind, not for the price that we were charged. So that's that. And for my collection for sale, please head over to Instagram, my collection for sale, and feel free to message me if you are looking for anything in particular. At the moment, this isn't for sale, but at some point I may post this for sale. I don't know, but if you follow me there, you'll see any items that I have for sale will be posted there. I'll see you there. Bye.